Hello, Digital Mayor. So you're watching this, which means either you're bored, deeply invested in Forge of Empires, or both. My condolences. You opened Forge of Empires like you always do, half-conscious, coffee in hand, hoping for progress, but expecting disappointment. Your city greeted you with its usual visual chaos. Winding roads that made no sense, buildings clinging to random corners like forgotten furniture in a garage sale, and taverns surrounded by the digital equivalent of despair. You stared at it all, sighed deeply, and for the first time in weeks you felt it, that gnawing sensation that maybe, just maybe, you've let things go a bit too far. There wasn't some dramatic turning point, no single moment when everything collapsed. Just that slow building irritation every time you logged in and were greeted by a city that looked less like a strategic empire and more like the aftermath of a particularly uncoordinated yard sale. Roads went nowhere, buildings were shoved into whatever space was left, and half of them hadn't been relevant since the event they limped out of. It wasn't a layout, it was a cry for help in tile format. And the friends, let's not pretend they were still around. Their taverns were deserted, their profiles looked like crime scenes, and most of them had quietly ascended into the forgotten archives of the server. So you did what any proud, slightly bitter, highly efficient city overlord would do. You wiped the slate clean. Not out of hope, not for progress, but because some disasters deserve to be erased without ceremony. It wasn't a redesign, it was long overdue damage control, executed with the cold satisfaction of someone who knew exactly how bad it had gotten and finally decided to stop pretending otherwise. Let's begin. The Great Reconstruction of Nothing, or how you suddenly decided to behave like an urban dictator with a pathological need for symmetry and a friend list full of digital corpses. You demolished everything with the cold detachment of someone rearranging furniture after a breakup. Nothing was safe. Nothing was sacred. Your great buildings moved. Your roads replaced. Your decorative trees ripped out like emotional clutter. You placed buildings with the precision of a neurosurgeon and the patience of someone who has absolutely nothing better to do with their life. Your city began to transform, no longer a mess of old ideas and lapsed ambitions, but a cold, clean grid of power and control. Everything had a place, and every place served you. It was symmetrical, efficient, unnerving. It looked less like a city and more like the loading screen of a totalitarian utopia. IKEA would be proud if IKEA sold war temples and coin generators. Once the buildings were rearranged, the roads trimmed and the decorative shame removed, you took a step back, admired your sleek, optimized city, and then noticed something was still off. Not with the layout, but with the people, or rather the ghosts of people. You opened your friends list, and suddenly it hit you. Half these names hadn't moved a pixel since the last ice age. Their taverns were empty, their profiles frozen in time. Some still had those default avatars that scream, "I played for 2 days and then mysteriously vanished." And yet, they were still here, taking up slots, breathing your silver, making your life statistically worse. So you did what any self-respecting digital overlord would do. You purged, methodically, mercilessly, beautifully. You deleted them one by one, without guilt, without hesitation. Last online, 39 days ago, gone. No tavern activity since forever? Gone. Name starts with XX Dragon K1 L3RXX. Instant removal. Out of principle. You weren't just cleaning a friend list. you were restoring dignity to your empire. And as the number dropped and the air cleared, you felt it, peace. Fewer friends, but better ones. The kind who actually sit in your tavern and pretend to care. What else can I even do? Rework your layout, again obviously, because symmetry is a lie. And deep down you know there's a better configuration hiding in those tiles. Make roads shorter, move high output buildings closer to the tavern, eliminate dead zones, eliminate anything that doesn't spark forge points. Marie Kondo your empire until the only thing left is profit and guilt. Reevaluate your great buildings, because owning them isn't the same as using them like an adult. Let's be honest, you have buildings you're emotionally attached to that do absolutely nothing. Nostalgia isn't a valid forge strategy. Check your lineup. If it doesn't give forge points, military buffs, or hard profit, it's just a glorified lawn ornament. Get rid of it. Upgrade Arc, Alcatraz, Chateau Frontenac, the holy trinity of people who pretend they're part of a strategy while hoarding like dragons. The Observatory can be useful if you're in a guild, as it automatically donates goods to the treasury and increases the guild's prestige. Join FP swap groups, grind rewards, and manipulate the market like the charming little spreadsheet sociopath you've become. Demolish event buildings that no longer deserve your respect. Sure, the 2018 Valentine's Bakery looked cute. It also gives 2 happiness and a warm feeling of failure. Time to let go. Replace them with buildings that actually do something. Sentimentality is for poets. You're a mayor with a spreadsheet and a deadline. Max out your friend's tavern and pretend it matters. Upgrade every seat. Add every decoration. Turn that useless social feature into a silver-squeezing factory that feeds your addiction to 5% boosts. You may not have real friends, but by God, your tavern will be full. Go sweat mode in GBG and pretend it's for the guild. Join battles, build traps, snipe sectors like a glory parasite, auto-fight until your soul leaves your body. Convince yourself you're helping the guild when really you're farming rewards to feed your great building addiction. Keep telling yourself you're a team player. We all know you just want to climb the leaderboard and be feared. Hoard goods like an anxious squirrel with abandonment issues. Stockpile, convert, manipulate the market. Create trade offers that look fair but feel just slightly evil. Be the guy everyone messages at 2 a.m. because you're the only one with 75 space-age asteroid goods and no shame. Stack FP buildings like you're building a shrine to your own illusion of progress. Focus on high-output event buildings, the kind that throw forge points at you like they're trying to buy your affection. Old carnival tents, seasonal monstrosities, fusion abominations with 17 bonuses in one tile. If they produce FP and look ridiculous, they stay. Everything else is just decoration with delusions of usefulness. More forge points mean more donations, which mean more upgraded great buildings, which mean more glorious little dings that make your brain think you're achieving something. And now you can sleep, probably. That's it. Some ways to improve your city, not just to make it prettier, but to make it actually do something useful. Wild, I know. We touched on looks, function, and your deep unresolved need for symmetry. Hopefully something in here helped, or at least made you feel slightly judged. That works too. Thanks for watching, and for sitting through this digital therapy session disguised as game advice. If you enjoyed this suspiciously specific content, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, so the algorithm knows you're still alive and marginally productive. Now go fix that one tile you know is still off. We both saw it, don't pretend.